Hello and welcome back to another big Sunday live stream. I'm excited about some of the stuff we have here today, but more importantly, how are you all doing on this Sunday morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time of day it is for you. I see we have Tedesco, the Youth Worship Explosion, Terra Necklace, Synapse, Pairs here, Evil, FHI, Charm Tiger, Ramono, probably a few others as well. Welcome to the stream. Double live stream this week? I would not mind doing a double live stream. I think I've even mentioned before that I wanted to do a 24-hour reaction live stream stunt thing just to bring attention to the channel in general. But I mean, we've done like 2 hours and 45 minutes before, which is 1.5 times. I don't think we've done a full double yet, though. Musket, glad to have you. We could probably do a double one time. It would definitely be some sort of promotional stunt, though. Not something I would want to do all the time. 4 hours in front of a camera is, I'm going to be honest, I'm an introvert. It's kind of exhausting. I have a good time, but I think at least I can feel my energy kind of waning towards the end of streams. Do you really have the stamina to do 24 hours, old man? Physical stamina? Yeah, sure. Mental stamina? I don't know, dude. I think it would be kind of weird. We'll start by pulling off a double album review. Yeah, I mean, live album reviews would be fun, I think. And a 24-hour stream would be a good time to toss a couple of them in there for sure. Yeah, well, no. There would be hard rules in place so that we don't have 24 hours of black metal. Single song 24-hour stream. That would be something I think that both draws an audience and scares people away. It would be interesting, though. I might be one of the first to ever do that. Full discography review live would be kind of cool. You actually get music fatigue, 100%. Not just harder to hear things, but I think harder to appreciate things, too. I think it was Johnny. No, not Johnny. Who mentioned... what did they call it? It was something to do with classical music. I think they called it like epic fatigue or something like that. Definitely, though, being inundated with sound or anything for a full day is going to be fatiguing no matter what it is. Yes, we will have... I know that Friday I mentioned there was a double album review yesterday, and in the original schedule there was a double album review, but I had my weekends mixed up. So it'll actually be this Saturday where we have the double review, and it'll be the usual Patreon selection, but also Musket's band puts out an album. We're going to be checking that out as well. And I didn't know any other way to better fit that into schedule, so just good old double album review. 24 hours of Crowless? No, not at all. Although it is interesting. I went back and checked out that first Crowless track. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I just went back to see. It's not anywhere near as exhausting as it was originally. And this actually came up because somebody put a comment on a reaction from 2020. And it was a pretty intense death metal track, and I had described it as a wall of sound at the time. And they asked me, does it still sound like a wall of sound to you today? And I went back and listened, and it doesn't. It's chaotic. It's definitely a bit more on the technical side of things. There's a lot of elements going on, but kind of clear. I can make out everything that's happening in it. So yeah, ears adjusting. That's certainly a thing right there. Still need to check out the new Jeff Tweedy triple album. Golly, with all this fatigues, we're having fatigue. Love you too, Musket. You definitely put out some great music in the past, and I'm looking forward to what y'all have made recently. Started the epic fatigue thing in my review of Majora's Mask. That might have been what it was. I thought it was in the music channel, but maybe it was there too. I dip into that room every once in a while just to see what's going on. It's interesting, even though I'm not listening to the albums, just kind of read people's opinions on stuff. All right. Let's get some music rolling. We got Express. Wait, is it? Okay, according to the YouTube video, which isn't official, the band's just called Express. But for some reason, I have The Express. So I don't know which one's right there. We're going to be looking at the track Wasting My Time. This one comes at us from Tedesco, fun little garage rock tune from the mid-60s. Very cool. Let's dive into this one. See what The Express is bringing to the table today. It definitely sounds of its time. Maybe not necessarily 100% musically, production-wise though. Oh, what a guitar tone. Bringing out the tie-dye.
I keep thinking, yeah, thoughts of you, baby, all the time. Yeah, but I know I ain't done. I know I'm wasting my time.
I hope it comes back around. I want to check out that tone again. This spoken word bit.
I know you're looking down on me. Sure, you're always looking down your nose. It's gonna be the last time. Find your new hell, baby. This rabbit's cutting out. I ain't got the time for you anymore. I'm wasting time. Always wasting time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure with that. I'm leaning towards the side of guitars, but I can certainly hear how that sounds very trombone-ish. So I'm kind of curious what instrument that was. I dig the overall energy though. Nice groove, nice vibe. Got a lot of grit and power for being from the 60s. Sounds similar to other 60s fuzz guitar tones. Okay. And the ramp up at the end I thought was phenomenal, with the spoken word becoming a bit more erratically timed. It kind of deviates a bit from the rhythmic flow of the song to introduce some stuff that feels more conversational, even if it is a monologue. And the ramping up of the energy with the drums coming in behind it, lots of snare work, lots of snare rolls. I found that all to be a pretty cool way to wrap the song up. I don't know if it's something I'd come back to, but it certainly, to me, feels a little maybe ahead of its time if they are distorted trombones, but there's also some sort of bells in the background of that as well, which I wouldn't expect with a rock band. It does remind me of the Doors compositionally, though, so I think that certainly places it in that era, but it does seem a little forward thinking. Yeah, a great way to start this track. They hadn't long had overdriven guitars. That's really interesting too, because okay, here's something that I really find interesting is that when something new comes about, there's a massive gulf of experimentation that typically funnels down into how that instrument, effect, sound, production gets used in the general sense. We've seen this with everything of the rise of synthesizers, electronic music, even when we have pushed past a sound, moving into post-rock or post-metal, a lot of experimentation that gets funneled down into a general sound that gets moved forward from there. I'm really curious about guitar tones at the birth of distortion, because this sounds so out there to me. This is a sound that's almost too overdriven, too blown out. It still kind of works. There's charm to it, but it's definitely not the sort of controlled destruction that I'm used to with modern distortion. So I think it'd be interesting to kind of see the birth of distorted guitar, kind of see where bands were experimenting with at the time. Link Ray, I have to take that name down. Might be a good theme as well, but I don't know how many suggestions we'd actually get for it. I don't know how knowledgeable as a whole the community is about it. I'm sure there'd be a few people who have some good suggestions, but I don't know that it'd be something that we get a lot of participation with, which I try to balance that more nuanced and specified themes versus more open themes that more people can participate in. The song Rumble, I kind of hope that it's supposed to be all capitalized, because to me that's like a sort of a modern thing, especially in the 2020s. Everybody's capitalizing their song titles, presumably for visual visibility in YouTube videos, to make sure that your music video has all caps and it draws your attention away from the proper capitalization found in most video titles. But I think it'd be really cool to see if that was done in the 50s as well. Just, I don't know. Kind of, like I said, it feels like a modern thing. Blue Oyster Cult, Dominant Submission. I certainly haven't heard that one. Although, to be completely fair, I think the only Blue Oyster Cult track I've heard is, oh, well, probably Godzilla, Don't Fear the Reaper. They're two biggest ones. And part of me, I'm not 100% sure on Godzilla. I'm waiting for someone to be like, nah, that was this other band. Burnin' for You? I may have heard it. The title doesn't ring a bell. Alchemy is another one that I don't, it's not familiar. Godzilla is? Okay, cool. Psychic Wars? I mean, that right there, I'm on board with the topic, with the theme, with the title. Metallica covered them. I mean, I haven't heard a bad song from them, that's for sure, but I've only heard a couple, so Boards of Canada. Metallica covered Astronomy. Was that on their Garage Inc. album? I don't think I've ever heard any Metallica song called Astronomy. Yep, that's why. I only know a couple of songs off of that And I'm pretty sure that's because they were the ones my dad enjoyed and he put on his Metallica mixtapes. But astronomy's not ringing a bell for me. And an atmospheric Metallica track is certainly not ringing a bell for me. So, good start to the day with that one, though. Pretty straightforward rock music with a nice sonic shift. Something to talk about, which is pretty cool, too. For whom the bell tolls, for which the bell rings. I get it now. All right, we have Auðn, I believe is how that's pronounced. And the track is Næðir. I don't know much about this one. I don't think we've heard this band before. Or let me take away the we. I don't think I've heard this before. For whom doth the bell ringeth? This one comes at us from Terra Necla with no context. Let's dive into it. See what's going on. Never seen the X above the letter. I don't think it's technically above. I think it's like in Latin, it's like a lowercase d that kind of curves at the top with a cross through it. It's an Icelandic letter called Thorn. Interesting. Oh, okay. Because I did get the pronunciation of that same symbol in Whom the Earth earlier this week. And I thought the symbol looked familiar, but when I got a translation of it, it had a sort of like a soft D and R sound to it, rather than the TH. So it'd be something closer to Næðir. I think it was. Well, see, here's the thing. It might be a similar symbol in a different language. Oh, we used to use it in English too? That's interesting. Definitely an atmospheric track, a bit moodier, but not oppressive. Oh, this is black metal. One symbol, which is more closer being one, such as a TH and two, which is less closer. Okay. Are the symbols similar, or are they easily discernible? Oh, okay. This has really great pacing for a black metal track. I love that really tight snare roll coming into beat 3. Yeah, dude, another song that well, first of all, I think I gotta check the lyrics on this one because it's black metal I enjoyed. Probably means they're problematic. I am a frickin' tuning fork for that. But I think it's another showcasing that black metal isn't a bad genre. It just needs to be more dynamic. And needs makes it sound objective, but this is, my opinion, of course. 99% sure they're not problematic. It's very, very, very rare for me to enjoy black metal that is on the up and up. So that sounds pretty good. I'm happy about that. But it's like, do I like the vocals? No. Are they fine? Yes. And as someone had mentioned, Youth Worship Explosion, they're actually more dynamic than a lot of black metal typically is. They're clear. I can't really make out words, but I can at least hear pronunciation. It doesn't just sound like low-end garble. But I really love how the explosive moments, the blast beats, the alternating bass and kick sections, the tremolo-picked moments are given imports. They are more extreme because they're contrasted with the lighter ambient stuff at the beginning, the groovier section in the middle. It's a song that allows the extremes to be contrasted and thus continue to feel extreme. It doesn't end up feeling fatiguing for me either. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Bjork has collabed with black metal before. You know what? Maybe it was just metal adjacent. I don't think it was particularly black metal. I remember she did a pretty metal track with Mike Patton, though. Oh, and she worked with Carcass, so... But yeah, I enjoyed this. Not something I think I'd go out of my way to listen to all the time, but I'm kind of intrigued about this specific album, at least. Something I also enjoy out of it is that it sort of has a bit of a folk element to it as well. Not necessarily in the instrumentation, but a little bit of the atmosphere and chordal movements. So there's a lot of things in here that I'm enjoying from a harmonic and atmospheric perspective, the general pacing of the song, the structure of it. And it allows me to have an appreciation, or at least a better appreciation, for the parts I'm less interested in, the pure, true black metal aspects. Adjust the style to reach out to more people with their sinister messages. That's how I feel sometimes. You make some music that kind of can pull in some people who don't typically like black metal, And then you hope that the messaging can still get to them. Oh yeah, actually that was a really good cover too. I wish the version that was out there was a little higher quality, because I think it was like a 90s, I don't remember what it was. It was a live show though at like a, I don't know, like a, what do they call those? Like a talk show or something? So yeah, the quality isn't great, at least the only video or the best video I found on YouTube, but it was a solid cover and a solid collab. So very cool. All right, we're off to an interesting start. Some 50s music that clicked with me. That's not always something that does. And, oh, here's another interesting thing too. Realizing that this came out in 58. Because when I think of the 50s, I don't think of garage rock. My grandfather, before he passed, was really big into old school country from the 50s. And to me, when I think of 50s music, that's what I think of. Country, bluegrass, acoustic music. Not necessarily noise, not distortion, not... I mean, obviously there was pop rock at the time, but not like what we listened to. I didn't even think about that. Maybe that's why it feels ahead of its time to me. But the 50s is 10 years, and 10 years of some pretty big advancements in technology too. So I suppose there's that. Garage rock's more of a 60s thing. It was very much in the early days in the 50s. We listen to 60s? Is that a band? And see, that would be a cool thing too. Again, going back to the birth of distortion, kind of getting a good historical sense of when that was, because, you know, oh, it's not my history, my knowledge of that it's obviously skewed. I'm missing out on some important rock history there. That's an album cover. Something about the lack of necks is just, nope, it's a little uneasy for me there. All right, this song's, oh, I can't even pronounce this. This song from Delta Sleep is Maconiklaus Culkinski. That's how I would read that. I don't know where the emphasis is supposed to be in there. All right, context. Vermilion Gates. I'm not a huge fan of Midwest emo or this band's usual sound, but this instrumental track does it for me, and you may like it too. I'm always down for some good Midwest emo. Macaulay Culkin and Culkinski. All right, let's dive into this one. Abandoned Pools? What kind of music did they make? What did they cover it in? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out then. loving the drumming. Very detailed. Bjork waits. You know what though? I think that would be excellent. I would really dig a Bjork song in Blink-182 style or the inverse. I think that would be pretty cool. I can hear the Midwest emo in some of the chord progressions, in the general balance of everything, but this honestly kind of comes off very post-rocky to me, which might be why someone who isn't into emo might enjoy it. That's it. Very explosions in the sky, yeah. All it takes is a little bit of contrast. So that was pretty cool. We went back to a posty style of harmonic development. Now we're bringing back the rhythm from the first heavy section. What are we going to build this into? Solid Midwest emo band wants to make a post-rock track. I think they nail it. The general journey throughout, I think, is nice. It's got good highs and lows, good pacing. You're conflicted. Let me guess, the ending didn't quite meet your expectations either. Oh. All right. I was wrong. Quite like the movement happening behind the fronts. Do they also sing? I would wager, given that the requester had mentioned that this was an instrumental track. Well, okay. The way that I understood that, but this instrumental track. Oh, okay. So it's not the band's usual sound, but this track does work for the requester. So by that, I kind of follow that to mean that they typically have vocals. But I suppose that that's not necessarily explicitly stated. Oh, there we go. We have confirmation. I enjoyed it though. I don't know if it's something I would seek out. It kind of gets a little too posty for me, but given that they do have a sound that is different from this, I'm always down for good Midwest emo. So even if this just ends up being a point of contrast on the album, I think that would work really well. They do the twinkly stuff really well at the beginning, though. I love the dual guitar line. The drumming throughout is exceptional. I love its expressiveness, the dynamic element of it. Everything is just 100% in my favor as far as the drum composition goes. The ending, the big part, what grabbed everyone else, kind of lost me a little bit. I thought it was interesting, and they do bring in I don't know if they bring in, or at this point I just noticed, a 7/4 time signature. This is interesting because a lot of the time it's broken up into a group of 4 and 3. Is it? Yeah, 4 and 3. And what this means is that when we have those moments when part of the songs disappear, so we can have a little quiet point and then come in hard on beat 1, instead of a 4-beat phrase there, we only have a 3-beat. And it always feels like it comes in just a hair bit early for me. It ends up making a lot of those moments feel rushed or rushing, which adds an interesting element to the noisiness at the end that tends to feel overwhelming to me. And I think that that contrasts really heavy with the very light and calming, soothing opening of the track. And I think that might be why the louder parts didn't quite click for me. And it did feel a bit too frantic. And I don't want to feel frantic right now. I wanted to fade out. No. No, I like what they did with the ending. I thought that worked well. There's just a lot of manic energy on the back half of this track. Maybe in another mood that would work really well for me. Why would I do that? First of all, it'd be much further from my mouth. I don't think it would work well. But second of all, that would just look ridiculous. You call it manic as if it's a tech track. No, it's just the emotion of it. It's very tense and quickly paced. Yeah, dude. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't use the word frantic too often in my videos, but when I do, I always say it feels frantic. Tick, 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 tock. It's a dumb joke. I'm pretty sure I've done it at least half a dozen times on the channel, and it took a lot of strength not to do it here because I feel like I've overdone it. But yeah, Frantic's it's long, but it's a great song. If they cut it down by half, I think it would have been a track people enjoyed. Imagine listening to Saint Anger. Don't blemish such a great album, sir. Saint Anger is my favorite Metallica album. I have gone on record multiple times with that. You're telling me your lifestyle determines your destiny. I love that line. It's so cheesy and campy, and it's kind of dumb. And I could see how they were in the room and thought, dude, this is a sick line. And it just isn't. But they say it with such conviction. It's all right to be wrong. I'm used to it on this channel. My opinion differs so wildly from metalheads. I get it. I say an anger defender too, 100%. Here's the thing, right? There's this dude, and I can't remember who he is. Maybe y'all do. But he covered a bunch of Saint Anger tracks with his buddy. And like Frantic, for instance, got cut down to like 3.5 minutes instead of 8 or something. And it was produced better. And a lot of the comments were like, dude, this is a solid hardcore banger right here. And it is. There's good music on Saint Anger. They just tried to make a metal track out of non-metal music. But like, even without digging into the nitty-gritty and trying to find the core of Saint Anger, it still had, I mean, all within my hands. Phenomenal. Purify, excellent new metal track. The Sweet Amber, that's just a moody, bluesy metal song all the way through and feels great. The atmosphere on that track is awesome. The back half of that album is just constant, good song after good song. And as cheesy as it is, I really love Shoot Me Again. It's just a ridiculously dumb lyrical song that I think it's like the cheesiness wraps it around to genius. I did not listen to Lulu yet. You could get wronger. Yes, there is the snare. Did he keep the drum sound in the cover? No. No, they adjusted that. Some of the best riffs in drumming. I agree, dude. Saint Anger is a solid album. It's not produced well, admittedly. And some of the songs are too long, 100%. It has issues, but it is not the garbage fire that everyone describes it as. It does have a few moments. I'll take it. I'll take whatever acceptance I can from other people on that album. I do need to listen to Lulu, though. I've heard really bad things about it, and that just has me so intrigued. Love Me Do listening to Saint Jean. I don't understand what could be wrong. Could be Love Me Do listening to Saint Genre. I'm trying to. I'm missing something there. Lulu's a mess. I'll have to check it out. You don't think Lulu was as bad as everyone made it out to be? Well, I mean, everyone said Saint Anger was like a 1 out of 10, and it's not. It's a solid 5. People don't know how to rate things. People think 5 out of 10 is bad. No, that's like mediocre. That is right down the middle of the line, man. Oh, I gotcha. Imagine and Love Me, the Beatles songs. That's what threw me off. I didn't know Love Me Do was a Beatle track. That's where I was going wrong there. Vast majority of albums are in the 4 to 6. Exactly. My rating system that I use for my personal stuff is bad, mid, and good. Just 1, 2, and 3. Very simple. Would I ever recommend it? Or if I would never recommend it, that's a 1. Just poorly produced. The story is full of holes. Like, it is not a solid work of art. Mid. Everything's functional. It's fine. I enjoyed myself. That's what most things are that I watch, listen to, read, whatever. And then good. Would I recommend it to someone? Does it elevate itself above being fine? That's really all the recommendation I need. And most things end up being right in that mid area. Can't be bad as Frontier. Frontier is not bad. It's an acquired taste, and I don't think I'll ever acquire that taste. Subjectively, yeah, bad. But objectively, no. I mean, it's an impressive album. I'll give them that. Best Metallica album is Reload. Reload has some fantastic tracks on it, 100%. Regression to the Mean. Yeah. Lou Reed chose the wrong metal band to collab with. If he did it with Neurosis, it would have rocked. We need an alternate universe someone to come in with that collab and come over to our universe and play it for us. So bad it's good? No, that's good. That's good. That's above mid. I mean, as defined, we have looped back around our qualifiers. Happiness is a warm gun listening to Saint Anger. Same thing with Law Dispute. You just don't get it. Yeah, sometimes you just don't. Yeah. James and his yeahs. All right, that's a pretty big tangent right there. Let's try to get this back on track here. All you got to do is bring up Saint Anger, and I'm just hopping on that hill. I'm ready to defend it to my death. I don't know why. I love that album, and I think more people should. Well, should give it a try, at least. I'm not going to force people to enjoy art. You do like some songs on Reload? I like a lot of songs on Reload, but again, I'm not a metalhead, and I'm certainly not a big thrash metal guy. I appreciate how influential the early stuff was, and Justice for All, classic album. There's just not that many songs in it I really care to re-listen to. To me, Metallica, Black, Load, Reload, Saint Anger, that's my pocket right there. I'm not too fan of their revival thrash stuff. I'm not too big of a fan of their older. It's okay to be wrong. Isn't Saint Anger famous for how bad the production is? Particularly the snare. Yeah, the drums are too loud in general, but the snare is turned off and too loud. And it's too pitchy too. I think if the treble were pulled down a little bit, it would have been fine. But they tried to take the new metal drum sounds and remove the bassiness, and that just, no, that doesn't work, man. Now you just have this high-pitched trash can sound in your ear. The snare is the best part. It is a defining part. I don't mind it as much as people do, but I'm not going to say it's a fantastic decision. Iron Maiden's more influential on music in general. It's possible. But Metallica brought it to the masses, and it's kind of hard-pressed to find any metal band who doesn't say, yeah, dude, Metallica was influential on us. So you don't hear that about Iron Maiden too often. Is it true? Sure. Iron Maiden definitely set the field work for everything that came after it, and, a few other of the heavy metal bands too. But Metallica is the one that gets credited the most. I think it's weird to deny that. Political Time with Kristen. Hope everyone's doing incredibly well. 100%. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We'll get back to listening to music in a moment. We're kind of on a tangent here. All the song requests are filled up for the day. If you'd like to drop me a request, though, you can head on over to my Patreon and drop the request in there. There's the link if you need it. All right. The ultimate metal song is either One or Master of Puppets, not any Maiden song. All right. This is starting to get spicy. Let's throw some music on. We got some Arka'n Asrafokor. I don't know. That's not one I think I'm pronouncing correctly today. This one comes at us from Spiro, Toga's only metal band. Let's dive into this. Have I had any requests to Ethel Cain? I've actually reacted to an entire album, Preacher's Daughter, of Ethel Cain. It ended up being a 3.5, maybe 4-hour video over on my YouTube channel. If you want to watch that, I dig into what all of the music is, what kind of cool things are going on, and we do full lyrical dives as well. Do you want a link to that? Let me get this rolling. Yeah, let me get that for you. I love the auxiliary percussion on this. Alright, so it ended up being 4 hours and 16 minutes. There's the link for you. I'm digging the vocal variety on this. Will it be Tucker? I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't think I've even heard that artist before. The cleans have some nice warmth to them, and lots of layering, filled out space. Oh, that's right. Yes. I don't have a plan yet. I do recognize that. I was wondering why I recognize that. But a lot of people asked for it after Preacher's Daughter, so I'm sure I'll get there eventually. have two drummers too, don't they? Very riff heavy too. It's interesting because, you know, Sepultura and I think more closer El Nino too, it kind of has a new metal meets death metal element. It's 4 syllables? Are you kidding me? Sepultura. Sepultura? Sepultura. 4 syllables? Interesting little break there coming back into this chorus. The accent goes on the T. Sepultura? Sepultura? Is it like a very clear, hard tur? Sepultura. What in the world kind of word is that? Oh, okay, that's a little different then. Knowing that it's a Spanish word or Portuguese, possibly, that definitely changes things. It means burial or grave. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm on board with that then. I'm less confused about it now. Also, I'll say it less rednecky. We like to like smash our things together. If we can cut out a middle syllable, we will. We can just shorten a word. Sepultura. That's exactly how a lot of people around here would have said that. But knowing that it's not English, yeah, Sepultura, 100%. I dug this song though. Now that I've ousted myself as a terrible redneck. Have you ever driven your truck in the mud? Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't have a truck, but I have driven trucks through mud. Who wouldn't? I enjoyed the track though. Super riff heavy. Great vocals, great vocal diversity. I love all the percussion in it. It's very rhythmic, tons of groove. The bridge was interesting because for a moment it went a bit more atmospheric. I thought it was going to stay there, but then we bring in some other riffs to balance that back out and bring the metal side back in. Stop hiding your accent, Brian. Brian reacts to foreign words edition. Great production too. Everything was clear. Brian's a hit confirmed. Dude. All right. Yeah. So yeah, everything was clear too. Fantastic production. Sounded great. Very new metal-y in a lot of ways, but also bringing in some death metal vibes. Very like the riff heavy, driving forward momentum all the way through. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out more of that. I can already see the demands to forget about emo Brian. We need hillbilly Brian on the channel. I'm gonna go buy a pair of overalls and a straw hat. Jeez. We're entering an exciting time where everyone from around the world can afford to make and release high-quality music while being influenced by each other globally easily. That is a fantastic observation. Absolutely love that. And it's true. Absolutely. It is, I think, beyond cool to see this global melting pot of art in general, whether it is film or, I mean, I guess painting too. I don't know too much about the global painting scene, but film and music, I certainly see the global influences and how things are melding a lot more than they did in previous decades. It's a very cool thing that's going on, not just the creation of the internet, which is connecting us, but subjectively, the more affordability of production hardware, the ability to actually make stuff. So, yeah. There's a great scene in Ozark when the wife falls back to her accent during an angry exchange. I always love moments like that in films. Elizabeth Holmes, when she falls out of her fake voice, I don't know who Elizabeth Holmes is. Eradicate labels and monopolizing streaming services. That's fair, 100%. And I'd love to see it. I don't know if it's something that would be feasible for everyone. And I don't see them being completely eradicated. But, I mean, we already have a lot of the tools there. A lot of people self-produce, self-release, self-promote. Between social media and websites like Bandcamp, it's not too difficult to get the word out there. And it's just, you know, a label is going to help you market a lot better. The one problem I do see that's kind of difficult to overcome is stuff like Ticketmaster, where they pretty much only work with labels, and you'd be hard pressed to actually be able to perform in a large venue self-representing. And that is an entirely separate issue. That is a big issue, but kind of separate from everything else. She's the one who is the female fake Steve Jobs who made up some blood scanning tech. Wow. How do I not know about that at all? That sounds so bizarrely sci-fi, and yet also kind of mundane in today's tech scamming world. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't hear about that one. That's wild. I'm gonna have to Elizabeth Holmes. All right. Documentary, that doesn't surprise me if it's as big as y'all are saying. Surprised she hasn't been pardoned yet. Dang. All right, we got some Jethro, Tull, produced by Steven Wilson here. Songs from the Woods. Is it multiple woods or just one wood? No, it's Songs from the Wood. There I go again, having incorrect details. All right, I don't know what Past Me was on about. He messed a lot of stuff up. I don't know how to get our music to the masses. Next week might be the first step. No pressure, just... It's all on you, Brian. If the album doesn't get big, your channel gets blamed. All right. Let's see. We got context on this from Pear. About time for some more Jethro Tull. All right. Let's dive into it. See what the Tull is bringing to the table today. I don't know if he'd like being called the Tull. Or they. Oh, that's fantastic. Right off. It's good stuff.
Better than you could dust you down from tip to toe. Dust you down from tip to toe. Show you how the garden grows.
Yes.
Hold you steady as you go. Hold steady as you join the chorus if you can.
Yeah, this is the 40th anniversary edition that was remixed by Steven Wilson.
Man. Let me bring you love from the fields. Poppies red and roses filled with summer rain to heal the wound and still the pain that threatens again and again as you drag down every lover's lane. Life's long celebrations here. I'll toast to all in me bring you all things refined.
I really love the folk rock angle on all this. I'm having such a tough time following rhythmically though. Very lush production too. There are a lot of things going on, and I'm really enjoying the ear candy of this track. Gotta bring in some flute. Interesting context musket. All right, well, there we go. Interesting build into this. The transition, I had no idea where it was going.
Let me bring you love from the fields, poppies red and roses filled with summer rain, to heal the wound and still the pain that threatens.
An interesting way to bring the energy back down to wrap this track up.
Life's long celebrations here. I'll toast you all in penny cheer.
I don't know about other areas, but Renaissance Fair around here, I don't think it's typically in the autumn. I'd have to double check. I've gone a couple of times in the past. Yeah, the drumming certainly stands out on that. It keeps the song fresh, but it also feels expressive within the odd timing of everything. There were a couple sections in there that were in 4/4, but I don't think all of it was. If it was, it's very weird 4/4, and a lot of it is driven by the accent patterns from the drums. So I think they give the song a lot of its rhythmic character. But the song is filled with character regardless. There is so much happening in this song, from more traditional prog rock ideas moving into folk rock and even proggy folk. Lots of layers, call and response. The song feels like a journey, constantly moving from one idea to the next. And sometimes they connect, sometimes they don't. But it's a song that's consistently keeping the texture, the flavor, the atmosphere the same throughout. And I think that's what keeps most of the song feeling connected enough as we go through it. It is overwhelming though, much like a good Genesis song. There's a lot going on, more than I could pick up on a single listen, and it's definitely one that would need a couple more go-throughs to have a strong understanding of it. Folky symphonic rock. I could see that. What's Renaissance Fair? It's like an outdoor little festival where it's meant to emulate Renaissance and about the Renaissance era of typically England from the ones I've been to. And it's usually sometimes mixed with fantasies. Dragons and fairy and fae folk are kind of common there. Mermaids. And you can buy little trinkets and stuff, and they sell alcohol in these, big, like, mead glasses, and there's usually bards playing, and a glorified flea market with turkey legs that taste like ham. Well, obviously not real mermaids, not real dragons or fae folk either. But people dressed up as such, yes. Some of the Road Frequency albums next week will have a similar folk feel, but not to the extreme. And people dressed as in the time of the Renaissance. Yep. It's a fun time. I did find it to be a bit expensive for what it was and what I got out of it the couple of times I went, and that was 2010s maybe, so I can't imagine I would get my values worth today, but it's still it's a fun time, especially do it once if one pops up around you. How can a mermaid walk around? Sorry for the complicated submission. Yeah, dude, no worries. I mean, this is a lighter, chiller reaction anyways, so I enjoyed my time with it. Like I mentioned during it, it's ear candy. There's so much good stuff going on. The multiple layers, the counterpoint, the harmonies, the vocal harmonies, the flute stuff, whatever this harshly picked instrument was on the side, maybe a dulcimer. I don't know. Just lots of really great timbres in here. Mermaids aren't real. We don't know, man. The bottom of the ocean. There's so much of the ocean we haven't explored. There's so many ocean creatures we don't know about. Literal mermaids? Yeah, probably not. But maybe something that looks kind of mermaid-like? Maybe. Merman, Dad. Merman. All right, next up, we got some The Smile with the song The Slip. Here is the comment from Nessa version 2, Tom York's newest project. Okay, we got some Tom York here. I didn't know that was coming up. Where is this page? Seriously, how did I lose my web browser? All right, here we go with The Smile. The Slip. Let's dive in.
A black hole at the center of the galaxy.
I'm trying to get into this. I don't think I'm the audience for this though. I can't quite place it. This part's a little better, but not. These more minimal electrics parts, it kind of reminds me of a little more energetic trip hop, which is an album I have a tough time getting into. The drums here are elevating this part. You would classify this as krautrock? I still don't know what krautrock is. We need to get a full week of that one of these days. I think it's mostly a production thing though. If I divorce the sound from the music, it's got some neat ideas to it. I just don't like the timbres of pretty much everything. Krautrock is almost as fast as prog. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about not being able to catch on to it or understand it if it is a big umbrella. That higher pitched melodic thing against the grating guitar tone. No. No, it's a sonic thing. I think the melodies on here are catchy. I don't have too much of an issue with Tom's voice. It sounds like himself. The drums sound good, and I like the drum patterns on it, but that bassier synth tone that sits on the bottom of all of this, the razor sharp, high-pitched, piercing guitar tone that we have, that even higher-pitched synth, maybe it was another guitar that was layered on top of that. These sounds just, I don't like them. Something about it's not working for me. I think the melodies themselves are solid. The harmonies, the chord progressions are solid. I like the layering. I just don't like the package that it's all delivered to me in. I don't know what it is. A lot of this bounced right off of me though, and it's not a bad song. I think if someone else covered this and made it into a less unique sound, I don't think I'd have as big of a problem with it. Even just like copy note for note, but just change the pitches, change the instruments, the timbres. I think I'd enjoy it. It also has this really neat sort of, how would I describe this? It's not necessarily stream of consciousness, but it is just a general loose structure to it. It feels linear, but there's plenty of callbacks. There's reinterpretations. We bring back ideas in new contexts with new drum parts or new instrumental parts around them. It is a song that is constantly in conversation with itself while always moving forward. I really love that. It's cyclical and familiar, but it never completely returns anywhere. It's always forward momentum, and it's fairly linear from that perspective. I like a lot of parts of this. It's just the sounds, man, they're not clicking with me. Tom's doing his usual inventive, creative stuff. I appreciate it as clever, but it's not for me. Yeah. I kind of want to check out the rest just to kind of see what other production stuff is on the album. But I don't know. That song bounced off of me pretty hard. I'm going to take a second to check on some stuff. I will be right back. All right. That was weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Thom Yorke's Soul album was good. I don't think I've listened to really anything. The only Radiohead or Thom Yorke stuff I've listened to is what y'all have presented to me. I've never listened to any of his stuff on my own. He's back, guys. Shh. There's a good amount of his catalog that's good but still forgettable at the same time. Interesting. All right, Neville Brothers. For some reason, that makes me think this is going to be bluegrass. I don't know why. Something about that name. Oh, it still could be. I'm not thinking it's bluegrass though from this album art. The song's called Yellow Moon. Comes from Mario. The third song on Katatonia's... No, that's not right. What is going on there? Oh, that's what happens. All right. No context on this one. Katatonia is next. All right, let's dive into this and see what they're bringing to the table. I'm sold from second one. It's like a bluesy, soulful ska, though. It's very interesting.
Did you see my baby walking down them railroad tracks?
Maybe, would this be classified as reggae? I don't know. The guitar work is very bluesy, though. Good grass. So Rate Your Music has this as New Orleans R&B/soul. Ooh. The only way I see this as R&B is a very literal deconstruction that this is rhythmically focused and bluesy. Yeah, dude, this is great. I love the bongos possibly off on the right. Why did I recognize the beginning of that melody? You're right. Ska originated in Jamaica, developing out of a combination of jazz and R&B. Specifically, New Orleans R&B. Combining it with local mento and calypso styles. No. The most blasphemous kind of fake out during a solo. Get out of here. You're banned from the live streams. Golly. Dude, that was fantastic though. Very chill and light. You got to see him live to see how it ends. I like that interpretation. There's a very strong chance that played live this just keeps going. So, refund request incoming. Yeah, dude, it's very light, chill. I really love the bluesy element with the ska feel, the ska rhythm. We have a lot of jazzy components in this too. Some really interesting harmonic twists, and then of course the two solos in here. I'm kind of all over this. Is all of their stuff like this? I mean, this is a best of album, so I guess if I dove into this, I'd get a little taste of everything. But I'm kind of tempted to check out this album, which is called Yellow Moon. This is the title track of the album. It was their fourth album, 1989. They had been around for 11 years at that point, and it seems to be their most popular track. But I dig it. Just to annoy Brian. Yeah, the ending is the part that I just did not enjoy. Well, the thing was, I was enjoying it, and then it stopped. That was my problem. Did Musket say? Someone had mentioned that they listened to this before when they only played... Oh, it was Youth Worship Explosion. Boring soft rock songs on the radio. Interestingly, that rock isn't in their genres at all on Rate Your Music. R&B, soul, pop soul, contemporary R&B, and jazz funk. So I wonder if they did have a more traditional album that kind of like they snuck it into their discography, or maybe you're getting them mixed up with someone. but I gotta listen to more, dude. This is really good atmosphere here. That Aaron Neville, I don't know who that is, but it's possible. Felt like it missed a rhythmic change for a section, like the beat seemed to stay the same right through. That it did. Interestingly, Aaron Neville is also, I think he's one of the, you said solo, but also listed as deep soul, gospel, R&B, soul, pop soul, and Christmas music, which I think is interesting that Rate Your Music has a specific genre just for that, which I get it. Christmas music has its own feel. But he did a lot more solo work than he did with the group. It's possible he had a more straightforward album there. Yeah, this was a good find, though. Like I mentioned, just a good mix of a lot of stuff I like. All right, next up we have some Katatonia. I know usually we have some album art up there, but the album art for this one's rather grotesque, and while I don't mind doing that in a regular reaction since you specifically clicked to listen to that album, being that this is more of a general field, I'd rather not put the album art up there. This one comes out as From Junie, the third song on Katatonia's second album, Brave Murder Day. The first song is called Brave. The second one is called Murder. We're looking at track 3 called Day. It's the only song on the album with lead vocals from Jonas Renske. Renks? How would you pronounce that? I thought the S came first, and it doesn't. Is it just one syllable then? And jingle feels, jingle feels. What's interesting is that we just checked out something off of this album last week, was it? For Sinister? I think that's what it was. And we actually got to listen to the one with Mikkel on it from Opeth. So it's pretty cool. I wonder if that influenced the decision to pick this one for the live stream. Let's dive into this. See what's going on with some Katatonia. I saw a lot of people commenting that this was top tier when we checked out whatever that song was last week. One of your bass pedals is playing a random radio station right now. You gotta love when it picks up those rogue frequencies. Not what I expected here. You pronounce both the E and the S. Okay. This reminds me of a song too. Lots of reverb on the guitars. Oh, you're saying you pronounce both E's. I gotcha. The first one and the second one. Yeah, the guitars are drenched. There's just a lot of production on that. Losing my religion. That's what this reminds me of. Drowned in reverb. Yeah, another good way to describe this. I think it's the vocal melody that mostly feels like Losing My Religion. Like, this part doesn't. It's the verse, though. And I bet they actually share some chord progression. It's not a perfect match. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Cure, Depeche Mode. Any of that old school sad boy music. The pre-emo stuff. I can see that. Yeah, pretty straightforward, low energy track right here. Very twinkly, very reverbery. The instruments are large, they fill up a lot of space, but they never feel heavy. The drums are consistently light, just hi-hat, very little snare and bass. And then the vocals, and they're very low energy as well, very ethereal, very light. Not what I expected from Katatonia, specifically Katatonia on Brave Murder Day, but as someone else mentioned, this is the only song like this on the album, so that's why it doesn't meet my expectations based on the other songs I've heard from this. Solid track though. It does a good job at creating a dreary atmosphere and telling a story within it. Not much more to add to that. The production, I think, is really what stands out to me on it. All right. Got ourselves some Promtastik. That's a word right there. Promtastik. With the track Impetus. This comes off of their Halo album. We have some context coming at us from Inky. Blend of classical, chiptune, jazz fusion, and Armenian and Spanish folk music. I'm on board for that entire thing. I don't know how it's going to work. I kind of fear it will be a mess of sound, but I'm intrigued. I'm ready to get into it. This song is fairly dynamic, though. The highs are going to be a little higher, a little louder than I usually put it at. And that's just because the lows are pretty low. I'm also going to mute myself so you don't have to worry about me blasting my opinion and thoughts into your speakers or headphones while this is going. The artwork says you're going to like it. Prepare, Katatonia got better a couple albums in. I think I prefer their doomier rock side than their earlier doom metal, but you know, I'm not a long-time fan. I only found out about them a couple of years back. So it's kind of expected for me, I suppose. Day is the only good Katatonia album. Wow. We have two very opposing opinions here. All right, let's dive into some Promtastik. See what's going on with this. Hmm. I don't know. I think if we kind of take a conglomeration of everyone's opinions here, it kind of bleeds into how I feel about this track. It's eclectic, it's experimental, beautifully produced, very cool sounds all over the place. But it never quite clicks, it never turns into a song for me. A unified idea. There are some interesting passages to it, and I like the general bright, almost naive sound across it. It's very innocent, I suppose, compositionally. But I really wanted it to turn into something more followable, and I think a lot of that just comes down to intentionality of it. It is experimental, avant-garde. It's not supposed to be followable in the traditional sense. This is where I usually run into issues with more experimental sounds. The video game composer, that does not surprise me, given the sounds here and the use of, honestly, a lot of sound effects. Okay, if Pear found it a bit disjointed, we're definitely into some extreme grounds here on cohesion. Um, it's impressive in what it is doing and what it accomplishes. I think that it does a fantastic job at being this explosion of positivity across several spectrums of sounds and genres. But I can't say that I got it. I think that's where I sit with that one. All right. Yeah, I think motive is a good word for it. I think the story is there. It's just written in a language I don't understand. And the motive can certainly fall under that umbrella too, but it is. I've rarely found that I understood why something was happening, and very rarely did it ever make sense for the song to move in the directions that it went in for me. So I kind of lost intentionality throughout it. All right, we got some Thornhill here. I don't know if he knows his world's upside down. That's probably not a great way to be. Maybe that's why he's holding his chest. He's like having a heart attack because the world turned upside down. Feels like it's telling a story, but we don't have any context and it's not given. That's a good way to describe it, actually. Like starting something in media res. Maybe not even intentionally, just coming into the last 10 minutes of a film or something. And you're like, I don't understand this. Like, of course not. Like the artwork implied an explosion of ideas. Fantastic interpretation. Getting it at first listen only works with familiar styles. 100%. And familiar styles is, I mean, it doesn't even have to be genre styles. A lot of music theory is applicable to a lot of different types of modern music. But when you get outside of modern theory and you start going into experimental areas, I don't have a framework to base the decisions off of anymore. Maybe they're from Australia. I like how that's just kind of a universal, like a global thing. There's a lot of areas in that time zone over there, but it's always Australia is the one that's upside down. And it doesn't seem to be the inverse. Do Australians have a joke that the Americas are upside down? Is that a joke over there? Like, I think it's funny how it's always Australia is the one that's upside down. All right. Oh yeah, context for this comes from Christopher, brand new track, just a one-off single, Beautiful Melodies. I'm always down for some good, beautiful melodies. Let's dive into this Thornhill track called Mercia. They are on the bottom of the planet. Okay. The globe is just shown as upside down. No jokes, just hiding from spiders. Their spiders are big. I'm not afraid of spiders. I mean, Florida's got a lot of them. There's probably a dozen house spiders in this house that I don't know about. I got no problem with it. The spiders over there, though, I get stressful looking at them. It's a very British idea. Okay. So it came over to the Americas when the British people did. Okay. And we're with the sky above us, obviously. I'm digging this groove right here. Americans think Austria's upside down. Speaking of more familiar sounds, very iterative here, but I'm for it. Interesting to bring in this sort of compressed down electronic sounds. Did we have this in the first section? Did I miss it because I was paying too much attention to the drum work? That's a fuzzy guitar sounds. It was the same, okay. A little rhythmic shift. Okay. The description says they're on tour with Sleep Token, or at least when this video came out, that they were touring with Sleep Token. The genre bending makes sense. The Baroness shall not be named. You weren't sure before, but now you're certain. Guilty by association. It's all about perspective. This is why I say context matters. I'm not super keen on this breakdown. I think it was kind of neat the first time through, a nice contrast to everything else, but certainly a bit drawn out by the end there. At the end of the song? All right. Oh, dang, I forgot to move that down here. Macrotonal. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's something I'm going to actively seek out. I do wish there was just a little bit more to it. I think it's interesting that my first thought was not Sleep Token to compare them to, but actually Greyhaven, a band who also dances between more Imagine Dragons style sounds and pushing into post-hardcore and semi-metallic areas too. Kind of, you know, crossing this vast spectrum. But I think what tends to work for them is that there's still character to the music and that the genre bending is not the star. It is simply a product of their unique way of writing music. And so we end up with a track like this where we have a song that has pop rock and hard rock and sort of this new metal genty thing, very Deftone style. And there's these very soft instrumental sections with electronic music, and there's very gritty, heavy guitars, and there's soft vocals and harsh vocals, but they're all seemingly picked for that specific idea. We need something heavy and aggressive. Let's do a single note breakdown. And it doesn't feel like it's necessarily them writing songs that perpetuate all of this, but simply them saying, well, we need something heavy and contrasty. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily how they're going about writing this, but that's what it feels like to me. Each of these sections individually is incredibly cookie cutter, incredibly, that word, iterative. And it's not a bad thing. The genre bending is kind of neat throughout, but it never really feels like something that coalesces into something larger. I don't know who Thornhill is here. Sleep Token, despite also merging a lot of genres in more iterative ways, still finds elements to inject their style into it. There are a lot of bands who have copied the Sleep Token, throw everything into the song, but none of them feel like Sleep Token. They end up feeling more generic than Sleep Token does. And it has nothing to do with Sleep Token doing it first. It's who they are. They are this band who needs to do all of these sounds, and they inject their personality in it. This doesn't feel like that. And I don't mean this to throw Thornhill under the bus or to diminish this song at all. It's just none of it really stood out to me. The novel element wasn't anything that sounded new or their take on things. It was just the smashing together of ideas. And in a climate where a lot of bands are smashing genres together, this doesn't really stand out to me in that. It needs a little bit more. I do like the production on this. The mixing is fantastic. The instrumental parts, the electronic elements in the verses, I thought they sounded really well done and contrasted nicely against the harder rock chorus. The vocal shifts throughout sounded nice. Everything that is about dynamics and contrast works really well here. But there's just nothing beyond that. It's very surface level entertainment, and I enjoyed my time with it, but there's nothing that would call me back. Their first album is 50th for 2019 on Rate Your Music. I wonder if they were writing different music back then. Although I also see something like this being incredibly popular, so maybe this album's pretty high up too, although Rate Your Music tends to be more niche. I expect less mainstream stuff at the top of the yearly lists, so I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm still thinking Thornhill did something interesting on their first album and kind of funneled themselves into this sound here years later. A well-created track, though. I'll give them that. I just wish something had stood out to me. I Kill Giants. To go along with one of the earlier tracks, we have Covaleski. I don't remember what that track was called, but it also had a lot of syllables, and I think also ended with a ski at the end of it too. This one comes at us from Greed. Sometimes you just gotta let it out. I don't know what that means, but I'm expecting something heavy or screamy, loud maybe. It's from the Too Much Metal and Rate Your Music charts there. There's not a lot of metal in their list these days. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, we've all collectively forgot about that. But it still exists. All right, let's see what I Kill Giants is about. That's a very fast 5. Acclimating to what they're doing. It's taking a moment. I'm processing. 2011, a small group. I'm thinking this might have been bedroom produced before bedroom production was really a thing, which might be the high compression. What's interesting is that it kind of feels noise rock, post-hardcore, something punky, but jazzy too. Like this section, very clearly jazz influenced. Oh, sometimes you gotta let it out. This is a 7. You're really trying to make this slop thing happen. Okay, that's. I mean, it's there's a lot of sound, noise, and stuff. Yeah. I still don't know what to think of it. I feel like I should enjoy it. There's parts in it that click with me. It's kind of punky, kind of jazzy. Those parts work. There's like a post-hardcore element to it. Maybe some early emo. I kind of got a little bit of cap and jazz components to the guitar stuff, but it's also just so noisy and frantic and chaotic and sounds. So many of them. I would have liked that if the production wasn't flop. It's rough, but there's something about it that works. I think I've said this before. When it comes to punkier styles of music, rougher production works for me. I don't know what it is. There's probably a threshold somewhere where I'm like, yeah, that's too rough. We're gonna need to clean that up a little bit. But this sounded fine to me. It reminded me a lot of emo music from the decade prior, and even post-hardcore of the time, very compressed. New metal, alternative metal, this highly compressed sound is just very natural to me. The 2013 album has a little bit boost in the production area. Still over boosted, but better production. Okay. I would have liked it if it had different instruments and melodies and rhythms. That's a good comment. I like that. I am curious about their other stuff, though. I don't think this song necessarily worked for me, but I'd like to listen to something else. Give them a second chance. Maybe something a bit more traditional. Not necessarily in structure or sound, but maybe less instrumental, maybe something a little closer to a pure jazz punk idea rather than the noisy elements. They're combining a lot of sounds in here, and I think it just gets a little messy. What would happen if we focused on just 2 or 3 of those sounds instead of all 4 or 5 of them? I'm intrigued by them, I suppose. Next up, we have some Utsu-P. Speaking of being intrigued, we checked that entire album from this person doing Vocaloid stuff, but apparently this is a live band that he also plays in. So we're going to be looking into this, but I don't think I ever reset this. All right. We have Utsu-P featuring Ohayogozaimas. The title is Fools Are Attracted to Anomaly, which is something. Comes at us from Gakyu, Utsu-P's band covering one of his old Vocaloid songs live. He's the guy on the right playing bass. What's the spoiler alert? Oh, me having the video ahead. Yep. All right, let's check this out. See what's going on. Oh, this was just a couple months ago. Who's doing the backup harshes? Dude, I'm on this though. It's like dance metal. Oh, it's a backing track with the Vocaloid. I mean, there's technically 4 vocalists here. I'm sold. Yeah, dude, I gotta go to a concert. Do you think Utsu-P comes to the States? Yeah, I put this down as metalcore. This riff right here is rather metal, but it's definitely a hardcore song. The riffs aside too, I love the bass work. It gets funky, well, I mean right here, it gets funky at times. A little bit extra there. Dude, this chorus is so good. Oh, that's so good. Little phaser sound. We got some hardcore dancing back there, looks like. It kind of lost me with this. The song was over. I don't need another chorus. Yeah, I'm on board. That's my kind of music right there, mixed with the fun danciness. The chorus hits hard. It makes you want to move, makes you want to jump around. Absolutely solid concert experience, I would wager. I've been in concerts, similar music, less dancey, less electronic, but still that type of metalcore. Always a blast. And I'm on board for this. And I think it's pretty cool too that he has these two projects, his live band and then his Vocaloid stuff. And it's interesting to listen to, well, kind of the overlaps with that. This was a cover of an old Vocaloid song. I'm curious how much of this was part of the original track, because listening to that Perfect Persona album a couple of weeks ago, there are some parts in there that would be incredibly difficult to play for real. You know, the programming was easy enough, but actually being able to perform it would certainly push a human. So I wonder if there's any modifications in the adaptation process. Or maybe just picked a song that's a bit easier to play for a human in this case of covering it. But it does allow, I think, him to be more expressive in different ways, to create stuff that's just beyond human capability with his Vocaloid digitized part. Although I did read that he records his guitar parts for that project too. So there's that side of things. But then also he gets to have this live band experience, gets to play live music that that's awesome. Yeah, solid track though, fun all the way through, great rhythms. I love the melodies and the vocal work. 4 vocalists, dude. All 3, well, both of the guitarists, the vocalist, and then the Vocaloid. That's got my name written all over it. That's just fun. Fun metal. That's where I'm at. Give me the fun metal. All right, we have some Stone Temple Pilots here. Looking at the track Loungefly, this one comes at us from Ramono. It's one of the lesser known STP songs, but since the first time I've heard it, had something that attracts me. Killer bass lines too, as is often the case with them. Let's dive in, see what Stone Temple Pilots is bringing to the table today. Right off the bat, I like the tom-heavy drumming. Kind of a moody opening here. I'm trying to place this band.
It's okay, believe me.
Oh, they sang Vaseline.
I think I'm free, but the dogs, they won't release me. I'm sinking, but you won't let me drown me.
The rhythmic element of the vocals.
Do you need me?
I recognize this vocal style. Lots of space carved out for the vocals to have that presence down there. I don't know that I know Interstate Love Song.
But you always refuel me. I feel I'm sinking, but you won't let me drown me. I wanna fuck, do you need me? I can't give what I take away.
I can kind of still hear the remnants of that bossa nova thing in here. Very light. I feel like a lot of it got pulled out, but it's still there. I'll have to listen to Interstate Love Song. I'm looking at the lyrics and they don't look familiar to me. But I think other than Vaseline sex type thing I know I've heard, the lyrics are very familiar. This song definitely had, like this part right here, bringing a bit more of that bluesy part into it. But it's interesting because none of this really sounds grungy to me, so it surprises me that they were tossed into that group. I like the tone of that acoustic guitar too. You know what's interesting is it kind of reminds me of a blues rock take on Tull. I could see that. Soundgarden. In fact, I probably have mixed them up with Soundgarden myself. Or maybe vice versa too. Anytime the guitar really takes lead like this, it's too bluesy for me to really feel a grunginess. It's interesting how spacious this feels. Despite all the layers, it feels kind of small. Two fade outs on solos in one stream. All strings and all fretting fingers. That's awesome. Oh, I remember Velvet Revolver was Guns N' Roses with a different singer, but I don't think I ever knew where that singer came from. Stone Temple Pilots, though. Interesting. I'm not a big fan of listicles or list videos, but one of the suggested videos, 10 worst debut albums ever. I'm kind of tempted to watch that. Twangy vocals, I agree. Something about it. Got a little bit of that lightness. kind of shifting between tones easily. I enjoyed this though. I think it's interesting that for as long as it is and as many distinct sections as it has, it felt like one long idea with a couple of variations on it. But I know there were distinct shifts in there too. It's not the way it feels like in my memory. I enjoy the tom heavy approach to the drums. I think that adds a lot of character to the song. When you pair that with the funky bass stuff, you get something that's very driven from the root of the track. The song doesn't function without the low end. It's so much of the character to this. Absolutely fantastic from the rhythm section point of view. The bluesy guitar work, big fan of that. Y'all know I love my bluesy guitar solos. I think the thing is that it doesn't have too many narrative or structural dynamics. It's kind of rather consistent. We don't have big bombastic moments and smaller, quieter ones. It's kind of neutral the entire time, and it rides that. And I think that's what makes it feel kind of similar to me in retrospective. And I think that might be the part that I don't know if I'd say it's a bad thing, but it certainly made it difficult for me to enjoy it all the way through. I got a little tired of that. But overall, I enjoyed most of the moments. So if you've been missing my goofy comments, I've just been out for a while. I'm kind of used to it. I don't want to say this. I don't want to put any weight on anyone, make you feel like you have to do anything. But streams always start out with a lot of chat, and it kind of peters out towards the end, which is fair. My energy kind of ducks down towards the end of the streams too. Maybe I'll just match my energy. I don't know. Maybe we're all introverts and it's tough to keep conversation up for 2 hours. But I just kind of expect the end of a stream to just be like 2 or 3 people chatting up. No bigs. Doesn't bother me at all. Primarily because I don't even know if it's a metric I should worry about, but I don't really care about metrics to begin with. I think that's what I enjoy about all this is the authenticity. If I assume you all want to engage in conversation, which is why you post comments and chat. Forced engagement just feels weird to me. Death metal band Utsu-P experienced record low turnouts night after accidentally printing the time and location information in the same brutal font as their logo. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, like I said, based off of lyrics, 2 of their top 5 sound familiar to me. Big Empty, Plush, and Interstate Love Song, though, I can't place the sounds to them and the lyrics don't sound familiar. So if I've heard them, it's probably a riff or a drum idea that I would recognize. Had to talk to neighbors? That's fine, man. It's always good to know your neighbors. I kind of wish more people knew their neighbors. I feel like that's a dying thing these days, and I really feel like we're feeling the effects of that. I figure they're all 5 of their tops. I should probably know, especially since Vaseline is their 5th. The other 4 are more popular than it. So it's probably one of those situations where when I listen to it, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's that one. Oh wait, I do know Plush. Yeah, I used to sing that in the grocery store. We had a weird phase at our local grocery store. It was mostly like classics, pop classics from like the 80s. And then out of nowhere, we started playing basically modern radio rock. We did it for like a month. I don't know what happened. The people who shop there were definitely not people who would listen to this, so I'm sure there was some complaining. But yeah, we had Plush. I would sing it while I was stalking. So I never knew that's what that song was called. But yeah, dude, the bass in here is sick. I'm kind of tempted to pull up some tabs later on today. Just look at them. I don't know. It might be a little above my skill level, given Ramono's description of them. But that might be worth a shot. Just kind of see what I get out of it. All right, we're going to wrap it up then. Not too bad. 20 minutes after. Thank you all for coming out, hanging out with me on this Sunday, checking out some great music, having some great conversation. Somehow, for like the 5th time, we've gotten on the topic of Brian needs to defend Saint Anger to the community. Honestly, if we hadn't got on that tangent, I think we would have ended on time today too. And yeah, get ready for this theme coming up, then versus now. We're going to be looking at how a band has evolved over time or just improved upon a sound. The evolution could be vertically, could be horizontally, could be in parallel with themselves. It's kind of any way to see how a band has grown. I'm looking forward to that. We do have the double album review on this upcoming Saturday. We're going to be checking out Mark Muskett's new album. I'm excited about that. And yeah, I guess that about wraps it up. For those of you who tune into the video game streams, I'll see you all on Wednesday. And that's it. All right. Saint Anger fade out on solo stream. All right. Until next time, y'all take care.